That night I reclined with my eyes shut, suspended in a delicate realm between dreams and consciousness. In the stillness, as a soft breeze caressed the curtains, I observed the door swing open silently. Without raising my eyes, I murmured, "Thomas." I found myself in a dream, yet the voice that responded was not Thomas's. In a gentle, somewhat wavering tone, Noah confessed, "I can't sleep." I blinked awake, taking in the silhouette of flesh framed by the door. The moonlight tenderly brushed against his shoulder, illuminating his face with a delicate radiance. Words eluded me, leaving me in a state of silence. His unexpected arrival at my room during this hour caught me off guard. "Noah, is all well with you?" I asked gently, my voice tinged with wonder. "I'm not sure," he murmured, stepping inside. Slumber eludes me, slipping through my fingers like grains of sand. He drew near with a soft demeanor as I sat on the bed, delicately arranging the blanket around myself. "In what way may I be of service to you? Ought I to pursue the essence of water?" He softly shook his head. "I trust I'm not overstepping, but I would appreciate the opportunity to engage in a conversation, should you be willing." His voice carried a subtle tension, a heaviness that hung in the atmosphere. "I would appreciate some space," I mentioned, my voice tinged with a hint of uncertainty. "At this hour, do you find yourself pondering something?" He offered a subtle shrug of his shoulders. For a brief instant, his eyes met mine before they drifted away, looking down. "At times, it feels as if a multitude of expectations weigh heavily upon me, imposed by others, the university, my father, and all those entwined in this journey. Yet, when you are near, I feel an undeniable tranquility." His words echoed in my mind, stirring a subtle change as I rested my hand on the bed's edge. "Please take a seat," I offered softly. "Are you ready, storyteller? This narrative carries an exceptional essence. We set forth on a voyage where emotions blend and limits softly transform. If this is your first encounter with such a confession, we warmly invite you to join us, subscribe, and activate notifications. This tale might just present a charming surprise you didn't see coming." He paused for a moment before finally taking his place beside me. He lingered in silence for a moment, his hands poised on his knees, a trace of youthful unease apparent in his expression. He initiated a dialogue with her. "My dad loves me, I know." He said it, though his gaze wandered off into the distance. At times, I feel an unsettling distance, as if I am not entirely woven into the fabric of his world. Noah's words left me momentarily stunned. He had always radiated cheerfulness with a hint of mischief, a young man who seemed untouched by the burdens of life. The subtle tension had escaped my notice. "It is entirely natural," I noted. "You are growing and transforming. These emotions shall fade away in time. You know your father and you know me as well." Noah paused for a fleeting instant before he spoke, his voice scarcely lifting above a whisper. "What if I ever appear strange to you?" His words hung in the air, echoing gently in the stillness around them. An unusual heaviness took residence in my chest. Meeting his gaze proved challenging, my heart quickening in response. Yet I found myself lacking the courage to delve into the cause of such turmoil. "Noah," I urged softly, "please join me in my room at this hour and converse in that way. It may be wise to carve out some moments for your own well-being." "What if solitude is not my preference?" Junior replied promptly, without a moment's pause. His voice bore a challenge, yet it echoed with a trace of desperation. In that moment, I understood it was time to collect my reflections. "Listen," I spoke with a soft yet resolute tone. "In such moments, it is essential to remember what is genuinely right. As your stepmother, I believe it is essential to have this discussion." As he turned to cast a glance my way, my words escaped me. The look in his eyes revealed a subtle mixture of vulnerability and caution. "Clara," he said, and the sound of my name on his lips sent a shiver racing down my spine. It was never my intention to perceive this as wrong. However, when at times your presence lingers in my thoughts in unexpected ways, it confuses me, and I'm trying to make sense of it. At that moment, I ought to have stepped in. Perhaps I might have softly interposed, recommending he take a brief respite outside. Yet I held back, for that look urged me to confront my own feelings as well. In the soft glow of the room, Noah's features stood out clearly. His expression hovered in a fragile equilibrium, embodying both the purity of youth and the complexities of maturity. "Could I accompany you for a moment of respite?" Virginia asked gently. In an instant, I found myself momentarily stunned. I chose to refrain from exploring the deeper meanings behind his statements. I should have seen him merely as the hesitant young man seeking guidance. I inhaled deeply, centering myself and striving to maintain my composure. Of course, I replied gently. If that provides you solace, you may stay here. He settled into the far end of the couch. I softly adjusted the blanket enveloping me, yearning for a moment of tranquility. A subtle disquiet stirred within me, yet I held the role of his stepmother. He was just a youthful lad of 19 years. I grasped my phone, seeking a distraction from the swirling thoughts in my mind. A message has come through from Thomas. This evening I shall not be at home. I will remain at the office all through the night. The moment I read that message, my unease intensified. Were Thomas present, I would possess a more lucid understanding of how this situation could be perceived. At that moment, my focus shifted to understanding Noah's sensitivity and responding in a fitting manner. Are you doing well? Drignet cast a sidelong glance in his direction, curiosity evident in his eyes. Being here with you envelopes me in a warm sense of comfort, he murmured softly. His voice resonated with a richness I had not foreseen. A silence enveloped us for a brief moment. He persisted in conveying the same notion to me. He is merely a boy. I wished to assist him in maneuvering through the circumstances. Yet I felt a change in the air and instinctively responded. Noah drew near with a soft touch. He sat beside me, his presence offering a quiet companionship. I remained still, mindful of the space between us. My heart quickened, yet I held my composure. Noah Drignet, I whispered gently, what are you currently engaged in? I'm feeling a bit chilly, he remarked, his voice barely above a whisper. Yet, there was a subtlety in his tone that implied it transcended mere distance. I took a slow, deliberate breath. It was essential to navigate this situation with caution. He was still in his youth, likely traversing a landscape filled with a blend of emotions and uncertainties. Surely, this can only be seen as innocent, don't you think? I endeavored to find solace in that thought as I reclined in stillness. The closeness I encountered stirred a sense of unease within me. My heart pounded in my chest, and my thoughts swirled chaotically, eluding clarity. I continually told myself that the moment had come to release my grip, yet I remained ensnared, unable to make that leap. Sophia Drignet, he murmured, his voice echoing through me like a tender wave. Proved difficult to ignore. Noah placed his hand gently on my shoulder, searching for comfort. With a soft flutter, I shut my eyes, pondering my forthcoming decision. A subtle unrest brewed deep within my soul. This is just a straightforward connection, wouldn't you agree? Drignet, I found myself in a constant struggle to sway my own thoughts. As his breaths became more rhythmic, I observed that he had succumbed to the embrace of slumber. Yet for me, repose appeared forever out of reach. My heart raced softly, a subtle cadence that appeared to envelop the world around me. A wave of disappointment washed over me, leaving me to grapple with my own shortcomings. What is it about this that resonates with me so profoundly? What is the source of my tension? Yet, his vibrant awareness and boundless energy stirred a feeling of discomfort within me. This closeness, it must be untainted. As I meandered through the labyrinth of my thoughts, a gentle fatigue wrapped around me like a soft blanket. In a soft twist of fate, I too began to succumb to the embrace of slumber. As the golden rays of sunlight danced through the window, I slowly awakened, my eyes fluttering open. A soft weight lingered upon my arm. Noah lay in deep sleep, his tranquil visage betraying an air of innocence. Yet, in that moment, I came to realize that my unease stemmed not solely from the innocence itself. Beneath the surface, there existed a tapestry of intricate layers. With a delicate motion, I adjusted my arm and lifted myself from the bed. As I stood up, I cast one last look in his direction. His towering stature, robust shoulders, and chiseled features drew my gaze, emphasizing the remarkable change he had experienced since our initial encounter. I found myself in quiet contemplation. He appeared remarkably mature, exceeding my expectations by a considerable margin. A fleeting unease washed over me as I recognized the necessity of articulating boundaries with clarity. I softly rattled it, donning a light jacket over my shirt before stealthily exiting the room. With each step down the staircase, I took a deep breath, savoring the moment. He acts as if it's merely another typical morning, I reminded myself. In search of a soothing escape, I ventured into the kitchen. Preparing breakfast seemed like a delightful means to engage both my hands and my mind. Still, my thoughts incessantly wandered to Noah above. His calm demeanor and aura remained etched in my mind, evoking a feeling of discomfort. I discovered that I was restating my arguments on several occasions. It was but a fleeting instant, clouded by misinterpretation. All is well, this is entirely harmless, and I shall not raise any concerns about it. As I entered the kitchen, I began the ritual of preparing breakfast. The soft, rhythmic sound of the coffee maker filled the air, drawing my mind to the figure of Noah above me. I found it essential to gather my thoughts. All is well, just keep calm, I whispered. In that instant, Thomas's voice appeared to overshadow my own. Good morning, my dear, he said, lingering at the threshold with a tired look on his face. In that fleeting instant, I hesitated, grappling with the uncertainty of my forthcoming decision. I softly coaxed a smile into existence. Good morning, I replied. Thomas approached with a tender grace, pressing a soft kiss against my cheek. His proximity only intensified my discomfort. The fragrance is enchanting. Is breakfast almost ready? Drania asked with her characteristic brightness. Is it nearly complete? I spoke, my voice imbued with an unforeseen sharpness. As Thomas stepped away from the kitchen, he murmured a gentle call behind him. I believe I shall take a moment to repose in the living room, as a wave of fatigue has settled over me. As he entered the living room, an unsettling wave surged through me. What would happen if I were to enter the room and discover Noah there? In what ways can I convey my thoughts and feelings? How can I express this most effectively? As Thomas traversed the threshold to the living room, I let out a gentle sigh. For now I chose not to ascend. I meticulously set the breakfast table, though a slight tremor danced in my hands. I meticulously ensured that Thomas remained oblivious to any irregularities. As I peered into the living room, I observed him sprawled on the sofa, surrendering to slumber almost at once. His calm, rhythmic breaths provided a soothing reassurance. In that fleeting instant, a wave of security enveloped me. Still, the disquiet within me persisted, refusing to find resolution. This circumstance cannot persist in its current state. A sense of urgency compels me to act. Setting the cup of coffee on the table, my thoughts began to swirl gently. Noah lay wide awake while Thomas lingered nearby. I sensed the necessity to subtly guide the circumstances toward a more advantageous outcome. Yet how can that be? As the morning unfolded, Thomas lingered in the embrace of sleep while Noah ventured into the kitchen. As we sat at the breakfast table, the effortless smile that graced his face stirred a sense of unease within me. Cradling the cup of coffee in my hands, I sought to immerse myself in his conversation effortlessly. You look lovely today, Sophia, he said softly. His assured tone appeared somewhat sophisticated for someone of his years. My eyes wandered to him, drawn in despite my intentions. It appeared he harbored deeper thoughts, yet he opted for silence. Thank you, Noah, I replied, striving to keep my voice steady and composed. A fleeting moment of stillness lingered. He delicately prodded the eggs on his plate with his fork, then commented, I hope your day isn't too chaotic. If you need help with anything, don't hesitate to get in touch. His expression conveyed sincerity, but the timbre of his voice instilled a sense of discomfort within me. There are numerous other priorities for you to contemplate at school, I noted. Though his words were polite, they stirred a disquieting feeling within me. A soothing wave of relief enveloped me as he gathered his bag and made his way to the door. Yet an unusual feeling remained in my chest. This young lad appears to be encountering something quite extraordinary, wouldn't you agree? As Noah took his leave, Thomas roused from his dreams, the sun now high in the sky, marking the arrival of midday. He relished a serene breakfast, savoring the quiet moments before gearing up for his day at work. Once he left, a wave of calm enveloped the home. That evening, we convened around the dinner table, exchanging light banter as if everything was perfectly fine. I played my part, feigning that it was just another mundane day. Yet, as darkness enveloped the world, that strange discomfort resurfaced. Thomas's phone rang, its chime softly shattering the stillness that enveloped the moment. His dear companion Tom has encountered an unfortunate accident and is presently receiving care in the hospital. Thomas made the decision to leave immediately. As he readied himself, he leaned in and pressed his lips to mine, his voice a soothing balm as he whispered, Don't worry, honey. I shall return with all due haste. I escorted him to the threshold, observed his departure, and softly closed the door behind him. The feeling of solitude that enveloped me was surprisingly heavy. Though I sensed the presence of others nearby, I was wrapped in an overwhelming feeling of isolation. Upon crossing the threshold, I found myself momentarily halted, taking in the scene before me. I cast a fleeting look at the lock. Should it be closed? What if Noah navigated the situation with a soft hand? What if he comes back to this place? I softly shook my head, hoping to alleviate the tension in the air. That will do, Sophia. He is simply a youthful boy. What leads you to embrace that viewpoint? In spite of my attempts to cast it aside, the thought remained stubbornly in my mind. I nestled into bed, gently arranging the soft sheet around me, yearning for a feeling of solace. I closed my eyes, but the discomfort remained palpable. The night wrapped the world in a soft, serene silence. Yet, in moments, that very stillness can stir a feeling of discomfort. Noah appeared in my thoughts, drawing near with an intent look on his face. As I sensed my closeness, a chill ran through me. The fog of uncertainty enveloped my thoughts, plunging me into a realm where my next step seemed to vanish from view. What is unfolding? At that instant, Noah inclined his body ever so slightly, his eyes locked onto mine. I felt the discomfort and doubt reflected in my own being. I hesitated, my voice trembling as I began to speak. Noah, could you take a moment to pause? My voice trembled slightly, yet the unease was unmistakable. I hold the role of your stepmother. What prompts you to contemplate such a notion? Noah halted for a moment, his eyes growing wide with disbelief. His progress came to an abrupt stop, yet the silence and tranquility that enveloped us deepened significantly. This appears improbable, as it simply cannot be achieved. My thoughts were spiraling into chaos. As I cast a fleeting look in his direction, it struck me that my face, a tapestry woven with threads of uncertainty and apprehension, was probably betraying my unease. What might have prompted me to contemplate this? A sense of drifting washed over me. Noah let out a gentle breath, a subtle quiver lacing the air. His eyes held a firm, unwavering focus on me. He stepped back, crafting a delicate distance between us. Yet, the ambience was so dense that it appeared to reverberate gently throughout the space. I have a thought to convey, Noah, I uttered, my voice trembling and filled with doubt. As I watched you sleep that morning, a realization struck me. It appears you've grown into someone thoughtful and aware, far from the boy I first met. Your demeanor reflects a remarkable level of maturity. My words hung in the air, but my feelings were too tightly bound to stay silent for much longer. A surge of emotion enveloped me, yet I found it difficult to express my thoughts clearly. As I looked at him, his gaze held steady on mine, yet I felt a wave of uncertainty wash over me regarding my next move. It transcends mere numbers. It's a change that has not gone unnoticed. You've grown into someone thoughtful and aware, far from the boy I first met. I forged ahead, striving to express my tangled musings. In a moment of innocence, I saw you as a mere child, and without hesitation, I offered you a quiet place to rest, as any guardian would in a moment of emotional need. In hindsight, I recognize the shortcomings of that decision. In contemplating the matter, I acknowledge the inherent risks that lie before us as a collective. Your secret is secure in my hands, I conveyed with a calm demeanor. Your presence is truly captivating, and I can envision that you draw a considerable amount of attention at the university. In exchange for my silence, you shall reside with your aunt for a while. It appears you may be exploring alternative possibilities. Do you find yourself trailing in my wake? Noah paused for a moment, letting the atmosphere linger before he gracefully lowered his head. His eyes mirrored a profound sense of regret. Please don't tell Dad, he said, his voice trembling ever so slightly. I truly regret any inconvenience caused. I shall be residing with my aunt, rest assured. His expression revealed a complex tapestry of emotions, a sense of discomfort, contemplation, and maybe a whisper of emptiness. Yet there lingered an ineffable quality, an essence he struggled to put into words. Clara pondered in silence. What if she had felt a bond with Noah? What if she had made a mistake? She took a deep breath. Her thoughts hung in the air, a gentle whisper of contemplation. Her vibrancy and enthusiasm truly left me feeling somewhat perplexed. Even with her unwavering determination to stay composed, The chance of a brief lapse into vulnerability or emotional upheaval lingered in the air. Having transformed everything, I am confident that I executed it with effectiveness. My actions hold little significance. I chose wisely. For a fleeting instant, she turned her thoughts inward, as if softly retracing the moments that had unfolded in her memory. Everything is as it should be. It was certainly an extraordinary experience, fraught with its own set of challenges, and so it has reached its conclusion. Noah took up residence with his aunt, and all is well. She was engulfed in a haze of doubt. At this juncture, I hold the conviction that all things are within reach of resolution. Clara paused for a fleeting instant, releasing a gentle breath. Everything is perfectly fine, she said, her voice steady and soothing. Unbeknownst to her, the future held mysteries yet to unfold. Slowly, the ambience began to calm. At first, Noah would make occasional visits to the house, but over time, his demeanor shifted to one that was more at ease and genuine. A serene stillness enveloped the scene, untouched by the disquieting words or deeds that had transpired before. Everything seemed to be returning to its proper place. As the school holidays commenced, Noah's return brought a wave of tranquility. During that time, he had genuinely undergone a transformation. He exhibited a remarkable tranquility and wisdom in his demeanor. It appeared as though we had separated ourselves from those electrifying instances. Noah's return appeared to offer a subtle test for Clara. Throughout those 5 months, she had convinced herself that all must seem unremarkable. With Noah's return, a palpable change was unmistakable. He demonstrated a remarkable level of maturity and composure in his actions. Gone were the days of peculiar approaches and uncomfortable behaviors. Clara felt a soft wave of relief wash over her as she observed Noah slipping back into his familiar self. Clara contemplated that everything had returned to its rightful order. Noah has achieved a newfound clarity, acknowledges the limits set before him, and has reconciled with the situation at hand. The earlier discomfort has completely vanished. Clara took a brief pause, drawing in a deep breath. She pondered if this was indeed the most fitting resolution. Time navigated it with elegance. The moment encapsulated the quintessential interplay between a stepmother and her stepson. For a while, I was convinced that everything was as it should be. With Thomas away on a business trip for the week, I discovered a surprising sense of ease enveloping me. Finally, a cherished moment of solitude. A tranquil setting to unwind and let go of the weight of accumulated stress. In recent months, Noah's conduct has revealed a significant growth in maturity. It genuinely calmed my thoughts. Despite the challenges in facing the truth, our journeys ultimately guided us toward a brighter conclusion. I had thought we were safe, but that night took me by surprise. As Thomas left, the tranquility of the house wrapped around me, bringing an unforeseen wave of calm. As I slowly succumbed to slumber in my bed, an odd feeling lingered in the air. Uncertainty clouded my understanding of what it truly was. One night, as I lay in the depths of slumber, a soft sound roused me from my dreams. The door eased open, accompanied by a delicate creak, as footsteps drew nearer. A silhouette drew nearer to my chamber. As I blinked awake, a silhouette danced softly in the dim light of the room. For a fleeting moment, I felt a stillness in my heartbeat. I awoke to find Noah by the door, his expression unreadable in the dim light. With a soft click, I closed the door behind him as he departed. An unsettling chill enveloped me. What has led us to this very moment? What is the cause of this? An unsettling feeling lingered within me, though I couldn't fully articulate its source. A feeling of powerlessness washed over me, yet I opted for silence. It was essential for me to navigate this situation with caution. Noah, I uttered, my voice quivering just a touch, even as I endeavored to maintain an air of calm. What has drawn you to this place? His eyes locked onto mine, and the calmness in his voice only intensified my discomfort. Indeed, Sophia, he commented, as if this were perfectly commonplace. I merely desire to engage in a dialogue and relish your presence. A wave of discomfort washed over me. What did he hope to achieve? What inspired him to seek such a sudden transformation in everything? His gaze held a depth that left me feeling unsettled. He radiated an air of assurance and resolve, seemingly ready to surpass any limitations. He shifted slightly in his seat, his gaze softly connecting with mine. In that instant, every fiber of my being, my heart, resisted him. Yet his eyes searching mine for clarity, perhaps longing for understanding. With a moment of uncertainty, I felt the pull to withdraw. Yet my feet moved back as if guided by an unseen force. "Noah, please stop," I implored, my voice revealing a trace of discomfort. "I would be grateful for a bit more time, thank you." Within the depths of my thoughts, chaos reigned. Yet my voice rose with unwavering steadiness and poise. "As the sun sets tomorrow, a fresh viewpoint will emerge. I shall accompany you, though not at this very moment." As I endeavored to exit the room, I found it difficult to keep my composure, my eyes drawn to him with an almost magnetic pull. My emotions swirled with doubt and reluctance, causing me to retreat even as something in the scenario beckoned me closer. Dear listener, should your curiosity be piqued by the unfolding tale, and you wish to immerse yourself in more narratives of this kind, we invite you to subscribe and activate notifications to remain informed about upcoming episodes. Your thoughtful comments and likes mean a great deal to me. They motivate me to persist in my literary pursuits. Kindly let us know the country from which you are reaching out. I am eager to discover more. Be on the lookout for the next episode. It shall arrive momentarily.